What happens when a government collapses unexpectedly? On November 6th, Germany's political landscape was rocked by the sudden implosion of its coalition government, sparking a wave of uncertainty and a snap election. Why did this happen, and what does it mean for Germany's future? Let's break it all down. The day after the US election, Germany's Bundestag turned into a battleground during a critical budget debate. Chancellor Olaf Scholz made a bold push for increased national debt, citing the urgent need to revive Germany's faltering economy and maintain aid to Ukraine. But not everyone was on board. Finance Minister Christian Lindner, representing the FDP, stood firm against Scholz's proposal, pointing to Germany's constitutional debt limits. What started as a policy disagreement quickly spiraled into a political standoff, with Scholz accusing Lindner of putting party interests above the nation's well-being. The situation escalated when Scholz took the dramatic step of firing Lindner, an action Lindner publicly called unnecessary and deeply divisive. This was the tipping point that caused the fragile coalition to crumble, sending shockwaves across Germany's political scene. If you enjoy this content, give this video a thumbs up and help us reach 500 subscribers. Let's dive in. The collapse of the traffic light coalition. The dismissal of Christian Lindner wasn't just the end of his role as finance minister. It marked the unraveling of Germany's fragile traffic light coalition. This alliance, named after the colors of its member parties, the SPD, red, Greens, green, and FDP, yellow, was already under immense pressure from internal ideological divides. Economic priorities, climate policies, and national security strategies had long been sources of conflict, with each party pulling in different directions. Lindner's exit acted as the catalyst for the FDP to abandon the coalition entirely, leaving Chancellor Scholz's government in disarray. Without the FDP, the coalition crumbled, and Scholz was left leading a minority government. An administration without the parliamentary support needed to pass critical legislation. The collapse reflected deeper questions about whether such ideologically diverse coalitions can sustain long-term governance in a time of global uncertainty. What happens next? Now, Germany is preparing for a snap election, set for February 23rd. Until then, Chancellor Scholz faces an uphill battle, leading a minority government with no guaranteed support to push through meaningful policies. This precarious situation makes Germany's political future uncertain, as key economic reforms and foreign policy decisions hang in the balance. But before the country even reaches election day, another crucial test looms: a vote of confidence in December. This parliamentary vote will determine if Scholz's government has enough remaining support to function, or if Germany will plunge further into political chaos. As campaign season heats up, all eyes are on whether the SPD, Greens, and FDP can regain public trust, or if the opposition, led by the CDU, will capitalize on the turmoil to reclaim power. The outcome of these next few months will not only shape Germany's leadership, but also set the tone for its role in Europe and the world. So what does this mean for Germany's economy, its allies, and its people? Stay tuned as we unravel the implications of this political earthquake. How Germany's political system works. Germany's government operates under a parliamentary system, quite different from the US presidential model. In this system, citizens cast their votes for political parties rather than individual candidates. These parties then secure a proportion of seats in the Bundestag, Germany's federal parliament, based on their share of the vote. The Chancellor, equivalent to a prime minister, is chosen by the Bundestag through coalition negotiations. Unlike in systems with a single ruling party, governing in Germany almost always requires forming coalitions, as no party typically wins an outright majority. This makes coalition stability crucial, not just for day-to-day governance, but also for ensuring the country can address long-term challenges effectively. Historically, coalitions like Angela Merkel's CDU-SPD partnership showed how compromises could lead to stability. However, when coalitions are built on shaky ideological foundations, like the SPD-Greens-FDP traffic light coalition, cracks can quickly turn into collapses, leaving the government in turmoil. Impacts of the collapse. This political collapse comes at a pivotal moment for Germany. Globally, inflation continues to squeeze economies, and Germany is no exception. The political instability has already caused market jitters, with key industries voicing concerns over delayed policy decisions. Compounding the problem, recent U.S. policies under a potential Trump administration are forecasted to cost Germany an estimated $127 billion in tariffs, further straining an already fragile economy. Domestically, the impasse has disrupted Chancellor Scholz's plans to revitalize the economy and increase support for Ukraine. With winter approaching and the war in Ukraine escalating, Germany's role as a key European ally is under scrutiny. Delayed financial and military aid could weaken its leadership position in the EU and strain its relations with NATO. On the home front, ordinary Germans face rising energy costs, slower economic growth, and uncertainty about the government's ability to deliver meaningful reforms. With the snap election looming, the stakes couldn't be higher for Germany, Europe, and the global political landscape. How Germany navigates this crisis will shape its economic and political trajectory for years to come. Will the snap elections bring stability or push the nation further into division? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights on global political developments. February 23rd, the snap election. As Germany gears up for the snap election on February 23rd, all eyes are on the polls. Current projections indicate that the center-right CDU-CSU, led by Friedrich Merz, is poised to take the lead. Known for his pro-business stance and sharp critiques of the current administration, Merz is framing his campaign around economic revival and stricter immigration policies, topics resonating with a public tired of instability. However, the rise of the far-right Alternative for Germany, or AfD, is adding another layer of complexity. Once considered a fringe party, the AfD has capitalized on frustrations over immigration, energy policies, and economic stagnation. While their potential inclusion in a government coalition remains unlikely due to their controversial positions, their growing influence signals a significant shift in Germany's political landscape. Meanwhile, the SPD and Greens, key players in the outgoing coalition, are losing public trust, partly due to their handling of the budget crisis and internal divisions. Both parties face an uphill battle to regain voter confidence, especially in a crowded political field. Adding to the uncertainty, new and smaller parties like Bündnis Sahra Wagenknecht, BSW, are gaining traction. Led by former Left Party politician Sahra Wagenknecht, BSW appeals to voters disillusioned with mainstream parties, advocating for a blend of social justice and skepticism toward EU policies. While unlikely to win outright, these smaller parties could become kingmakers in post-election coalition talks. With traditional alliances breaking down and voter sentiment more fragmented than ever, February 23rd is shaping up to be a pivotal moment in German politics. Will voters choose stability with the CDU-CSU, or will frustration drive a surge for the far right or emerging alternatives? One thing is certain: the results will have far-reaching implications for Germany's role in Europe and beyond. Germany stands at a crossroads, with the February 23rd snap election likely to reshape its political and economic future. As parties vie for dominance and coalition possibilities remain uncertain, the stakes couldn't be higher, not just for Germany, but for Europe as a whole. The choices made in the coming weeks will define the nation's direction for years to come. If you want to learn about why more Americans are moving to Singapore. With that said, thanks for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. What do you think will happen in the upcoming election? And until next time, stay informed and engaged.